All right, so move on to the next segment. I'll be sharing my thoughts on Aaron Rodgers signing with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So it was announced last week that Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers have came to a one-year agreement to bring Aaron Rodgers into Pittsburgh to become their starting quarterback for the 2025-26 regular season. This will be Aaron Rodgers' 21st year in the NFL. So my thoughts on the Steelers signing Aaron Rodgers. How does this move make the Pittsburgh Steelers better? I just don't see it. This version of Aaron Rodgers is not good enough to help the Pittsburgh Steelers contend or compete in the AFC conference. Aaron Rodgers is 41 years of age, and he has not played peak football since 2021. The last time we've seen him play peak football with the Green Bay Packers in 2021. If you guys have been living under a rock, have you guys not seen Aaron Rodgers' leadership skills that he had last year in the Big Apple with the New York Jets? This man thought he was a LeBron James, the GM in the NFL, that he could control everything that happened with this New York Jets franchise. He got Robert Saleh fired, threw him under the bus. His former offensive coordinator that he had with the Green Bay Packers, Nathaniel Hackett, he was the one who brought him to New York, and he watched him get demoted as the season went on. He took no accountability for how bad the New York Jets truly played last year. And you could throw in the stats of Aaron Rodgers. Might have had some pretty decent stats, but those were empty calorie stats. Those were garbage time stats. Look at the win-loss column that Aaron Rodgers had with a much better New York Jets team on paper to what he's going to have with the Pittsburgh Steelers this year. I just don't see anything that moves me with this move. The best offensive piece that the Pittsburgh Steelers have is DK Metcalf, and you're in a run-first offense with Arthur Smith with no running back really other than Jaylen Warren, who has not been proven wise that he could be a true number one running back for a entire duration of an NFL regular season. I just think this smells disaster to me. I just don't think there's a way that this version of Aaron Rodgers can elevate the Pittsburgh Steelers in any particular way than other than getting Mike Tomlin over 500 again. I think this Pittsburgh Steelers team is best. I would say win-wise would be best would be they're a record of 8-9 or 9-8. I just don't see the Pittsburgh Steelers being a threat this year in the AFC conference. I don't see Aaron Rodgers playing phenomenal football anymore. I think he's just a shell of his old self. But I just don't like the signing because if the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to do all of this, if you knew Aaron Rodgers was coming to town, why trade George Pickens in the first place? Or if you thought you were going to be in a better position offensively moving forward, maybe you should have gave Justin Fields another chance to be the starting quarterback for a full year in the NFL with Russell Wilson already going to the New York Giants in the first place. I would have brought back Justin Fields rather than signing an older version of Aaron Rodgers who is 41 years of age. And I don't understand if someone like Mike Tomlin is trying to save his job in Pittsburgh. Is this really the right move to bring in a veteran guy in Aaron Rodgers? I don't think it was. And evidently, I believe that everybody knew this was going to happen all along because there was only so many places that Aaron Rodgers could have went once the New York Jets wanted to wipe their hands clean of Mr. Aaron Rodgers. The New York Giants weren't interested. They went ahead and signed Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, and drafted Jackson Dart in the first round. You see the Minnesota Vikings, they let Sam Darnold walk, so their former first round pick and JJ McCarthy, who sat out his full rookie season, could take over as the starter this year. I just don't. Maybe it's me. It feels like the Pittsburgh Steelers are obsessed with mid quarterbacks because since Big Ben Roethlisberger retired in 2021, they've been through 5 starting different quarterbacks: Kenny Pickett, Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, and 2 others. The quarterback play has not been phenomenal at all. It's been mid, bottom tier, bottom tier production and quarterbacks, probably 20th or under in the league with 32 starting quarterbacks in the National Football League year in and year out. The Steelers have not won a playoff game since 2016. That's a long drought for a franchise that has won 6 Super Bowls and the tie for the most in NFL history. I just don't see the hunger that the Steelers have to go out there and compete this year. Signing Aaron Rodgers might make it a little better for fans out there that still believe in him. But I don't think this move makes me jump up and down, and it wouldn't make me jump up and down for joy if I was a Pittsburgh Steelers fan myself. But I will say they can change things around offensively because the Steelers are, looking at it, they are loaded with draft capital to get Aaron Rodgers help on the outside at the wide receiver position with DK Metcalf. They already traded for DK Metcalf from Seattle and brought him in this year. They're sitting on a total of 12 total draft picks for the 2026 NFL draft. And this could be something to monitor for the Pittsburgh Steelers if they want to get Aaron Rodgers some more help offensively. Because there's a Terry McLaurin situation out there with the Washington Commanders. He's upset with the franchise that he's not getting a long-term contract and wants a new contract on the final year of his deal with the Commanders. Chris Godwin, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did re-sign him, but they did get Ibuka from Ohio State. Another player would be Romeo Doubs, only because that Matthew Golden got drafted by the Green Bay Packers. I think he's going to be their number one wide receiver, an explosive wide receiver coming from Texas. Tim Patrick from the Detroit Lions had a pretty solid year, but probably is going to lack some touches in that offense with Amon St. Brown and Williams and Sam Laporta at tight end. I don't see him getting a lot of touches this year. So they have the capital to get another wide receiver playing alongside DK Metcalf, because their next best wide receiver would be Robert Woods, which that's not moving me in the regular season 2025-2026. But I'm looking at it. Mike Tomlin has the history of going nearly 20 years in a row somehow, some way, finishing above 500 or finishing at 500. They have a chance to do that. But I just don't think this Pittsburgh Steelers team right now, as of today, is good enough to compete in the AFC. They got a good defense that's going to carry them, but once you want it to be balanced on both sides of the ball, especially for Aaron Rodgers that's in a run-first offense, and Jaylen Warren, again, that's not proven as a true number one running back for the entire duration of the regular season. But I'm looking at the AFC. I don't think the Steelers are good enough to compete with teams like the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Bills, the Broncos, the Chargers, the Bengals, the Texans. Then these are teams that are in the running to make the playoffs as we speak. I just don't think they're good enough. And I think the Steelers could be in danger overall of missing the playoffs. And one more thing I will say. If the Steelers thought this was a good idea bringing in Aaron Rodgers, from what he had with the New York Jets, he had his buddy Devontae Adams, he had Garrett Wilson, he had Breece Hall running back. The offense that he had is from last year is a complete downgrade of what you're getting this year in Pittsburgh, with DK Metcalf being the only stud on the offensive side of the ball heading into the season. I just don't believe in it. I think this is a waste of time, but we'll see how this plays out. But those are my thoughts on the Pittsburgh Steelers signing Aaron Rodgers.